This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this 2026 StarCraft Autumn Ridge model number 182RB. Okay, so this is going to be a how-to video. I'm just going to show you some of the features and how they work. So we have regular scissor type crank down stabilizers, one on each corner of course, and we have a crank up in the front compartment. You have a power awning with an LED strip. This is just 120 AC to plug things into. Now this has a solar panel, so this is the solar controller right here. Let's see if I can show you this. Kind of compact here, but so you can see it keeps switching from screen to screen. That one you're looking at right there is the most common, if you can see it. It's I think it said 13.5 volts DC. It'll come around again. 13.5 volts and 0.4 amps. The 0.4 amps are what's being gained from the sun right now and stored in the battery. It'll go way up depending on the time of day, the weather conditions outside, the position of the sun in relationship to the solar panels, all those factors and more. But that double, the two numbers right there, that's the most common screen you're going to look at. It gives you DC voltage on the top and then the amp gain that's being stored in your battery right there. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Now you can learn more about it. You have to you read the directions obviously, but that is the most important set of numbers as far as I'm concerned, so keep that in mind. And this is the kill switch for your battery right here. You can shut it off just by turning this key and pulling it out. Okay. This is your dump hose here, your dump hose kit, and then you have a little reducer right there. If you can see it, goes from 30 to 20 amps, and then there's of course your 3/4 inch crank we talked about. Okay. Now as we come around, we'll go over the front end with you when you pick up, but basically you got a crank type tongue jack. You got a 20-pound LP tank, deep cycle marine battery. That's your regulator, your LP regulator right there. And this is your breakaway switch for your brakes. Okay? As we come around, this is your water hookup here, or your fresh water fill, I guess I should call it. This is the second most common way to get water to the trailer. The first one is back here. This is your city water hookup right here. So you just pull into the campground, you hook your city water onto it, you turn on the faucet so you get water pressure, and you're all set. Now if you're camping someplace that doesn't have city water, if you're boondocking or whatever, you can remove this cap here, refill your fresh water tank, and then when you get to the campground you can turn on your 12-volt pump, and you can pump water out of the tank. All the plumbing will work as though you have city water. You'll just be pumping it from your fresh water tank. So you have two options when it comes to water. Of course, if you have city water, you don't have to worry about the pump or the tank. I'll show you where the switches are when we get inside for the pump and other things. So that's your low point drain there. This is a vent for the range hood. So if you're cooking and venting to the outside, this is where it vents out to. So I think you can open and close this one. I think, maybe not. But anyway, that's the vent. You have a 30-foot, 30-amp shore cord, and I showed you that little adapter we give you to go down to 20. That's your LP furnace vent. Your city water hookup, which we talked about. This is your cable TV through to the inside of the trailer. Okay. Your valves are here. Your dump valves. You got your black, which is toilet water and waste, and your gray, which is sink and shower water. These are your low point drains. You use that when you winterize the trailer. Okay. As you come around the back, you're pre-wired for a Furrion backup camera kit. That's what that housing is. So if you're interested, we sell them here. You can get them elsewhere. Just get the proper kit to fit that housing. It's made by Furrion. And then there's a Lippert ladder hookup also. You can, it's just prepped for a ladder. It's like a tubular extending ladder, which is an option. You can always get that. The reason you might want to get that is because the manufacturer states every 90 days you should inspect the roof or have somebody inspect the roof, so keep that in mind. Just want to look for damage on the roof or the roofing materials or the roofing attachments caused by, let's say, low branches, or you want to look for a cracking or separation at any of the sealant where water could get through. So keep that in mind. That's every 90 days. You don't really have to get up on the roof, and normally you could probably just go around the perimeter with a ladder looking at everything. So that's every 90 days, and that's important, of course. This is your black tank lever here. I was pointing under the trailer when I was showing you the gray, but this is actually the black one here. Make sure you don't bend this when you're using it. Just kind of support it with your other hand. It's just made out of aluminum, so keep that in mind. Also, this is a quick connect for the LP system in case you were going to get a griddle or a grill or some kind of an appliance. You can connect it right there with this quick connect. If you ever get any grill, for example, make sure you get the correct one. It has to be a low pressure appliance that's made for a travel trailer. They're all different pressures, so you got to get the proper one. So keep that in mind. You can't just hook your grill, your backyard grill, into this, for example, because that runs on much higher pressure. Okay. All right. So let's go inside. Okay, so this is your awning, in and out. Let's see what we have here. Let me step out for a second. Okay, so your awning arm clears the door, so you don't have to worry about that. With some trailers you do, this one you don't, which is good. So all you're going to do is extend it like so. Never leave it out unattended. If you're not going to be at the campsite, roll it in. It'll get damaged by the weather very quickly if you don't. It just takes a good gust of wind, so make sure you keep it in when you're not at the campsite. When you look up here, your water pump is here. That's to pump water out of the fresh water tank if you don't have city water. It's also used to winterize the trailer. To turn your water heater on gas is right here. The gas burner, lights there. To run it on electric, you just turn it on there. That's the most common thing to do. Get to the campground, turn it on, and just let it run with the electric heating element. Then if you need more water or a faster recovery, you can kick the burner on. It's not on demand by any means, but it just gives you much quicker recovery. Speaking of the water heater, I think I walked right past it, didn't I? Okay. So this is your water heater here. Never run it without water in the tank. This is connected to a tank which is on the back of this here. If inside the trailer, if you there's always an access point. There'll be valves on the back of this water heater for when you winterize it and that sort of thing. So keep that in mind. Right now it's ready to go. Never run it without water in it. The way you know if it's full, you'll basically hook up your city water. Then you'll go into, let's say, the kitchen. It doesn't matter which one. You turn on a hot water valve, and if it's empty, air will just be coming out, right? And as it fills, you'll start to get some water spitting out, and then you'll get more water. Eventually, you'll get a solid stream of water coming out. That's how you know it's full. Then you can turn it on. To drain it, you use this drain plug right here. I believe that's 1 1/16", 6-point socket for that, and so that's where you drain it from. Like I said, never run it without water in it. And it runs on both gas and electric. Gas is just general use. You just keep it running off campground power while you're camping. And then if you need faster recovery, you just kick the burner on. Like if a couple of people are going to use the shower in a row or something like that. Okay? Alrighty. And also on the same component here, you also your battery level, fresh water, gray water, black water. It graduates up in 1/3 increments up here, so you know when your tanks are full. Alright, so you have some storage under here, like a foot locker sort of. Keys are hanging right here on the faucet. Your table, you can pull the poles out of the bottom of the table, and you can set the tabletop onto these cleats here. There's 4 of them, and you can turn this into a bed if you need to. You have a this is the range hood. We talked about venting to the outside. This is it right here. You get winding up. So if you're cooking, you want to vent to the outside, obviously. And you have a light also. You have a microwave, which works like any other microwave. Cooktop, and this, let's see, this one I believe probably, let's see what we've got here. I don't know if the gas, there's no gas turned on at this point, so I'll just talk it through. But basically, yeah, you're just gonna, you go to high, which is to light, and then you're just gonna push it in to spark it. But the gas has to be, we have to have gas obviously to do that. So you got 2 burners there. Always travel with this closed. That's important. Okay, that's your furnace right there. Here's the thermostat for your furnace. You click it all the way to the left to shut it off. You want to hear the clicking sound to shut it off, okay? It runs on gas and it lights automatically. You just turn it on and it'll make 3 attempts to light. It always lights within those 3 attempts. If it doesn't, all you have to do is click it off to the left, wait 10 seconds and turn it back on, and it'll go through this lighting cycle again. Alright? When it comes to the air conditioner, the controls are right on the unit. It works like a window unit. This is the thermostat here, and then you have a couple of fan speeds and then a couple of air conditioning speeds on this side. Fan speeds are just the air conditioner running without the compressor, okay? This is your smoke detector. There we go. This is your TV hookup. Now you got a backer plate here, but keep in mind, you can shut this off like that, right? But you want it on when you're using the antenna. That tells you the digital antenna is turned on. So there's a little button next to it to turn it on and off. This is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector right here. It should always be green. If it's not glowing green, get it serviced. You can also push the test button right there and do an audible test, but it'll test for carbon monoxide and LP gas. It's very important. It's hardwired to the battery, so never ignore it. If it's not working, get it fixed immediately. It's not expensive. It's too important not to do that. Alright, so let me just peek in here and see what we've got. There it is there, okay. Let me get some light here. That's the fan switch. You have a fan, obviously. This is your power converter right here. This converts AC to DC power. So you can see you have regular 120 AC circuit breakers on this side, which are labeled. That's your short power, so you're plugged in, you're going to have 120 AC there, excuse me. Then the power is sent over to this side and is converted to 12 volt DC. So you got 12 volt DC fuses and they're all labeled, right? So it's converting AC to DC power. Everything that can run on 12 volt DC in a trailer does. Some things have to be AC, like the air conditioning and the microwave, but everything else for the most part is run on DC power. So that's where it comes from. It's also a battery tender, so it'll sense how much energy your battery up on the tongue has and needs. As long as you're plugged into short power, it's going to keep your battery charged up also. So when you're pulling down the road, your tow vehicle will charge the battery. When you're plugged into shore power, your power converter charges the battery, and your solar panel charges it as it can, depending on the conditions outside. So 3 ways to keep your battery charged. Okay, now I mentioned the back of the water heater. I'm not going to show you that. It's not part of the demo, but this is where you find the back of it. So you have 2 screws holding this panel on. All the screws in here are number 2 square-headed screws. So if you remove these 2 screws, you'll see the back of the water heater and the valves and the bypass valves, okay? Just so you know that's where they are. This is a GFCI plug. All the plugs in the trailer are wired through this GFCI, even the one on the outside. So they're all protected by this GFCI. Even if it's a regular duplex plug or just a normal looking plug, it's still wired through this. So they're all protected. If you lose power in one of them, you're going to come back here and first thing you're going to do is reset the GFCI, okay? Shower, self-explanatory. The toilet works like all RV toilets in that it has a flush pedal right here. It sits right over a black tank. So when you get to the campground, you hook up your power and your water. Your black tank will be empty because you dumped it when you left the last campground, so it's empty. So you can't run it dry like that. So you have to put a dose of chemical in the bowl, and then you stand on the pedal and put at least a gallon of water in there. Not less than a gallon, but you can use more. More is kind of better, so keep that in mind. And then you're all set. If you don't put chemical and water in there, that's considered running it dry. If you do that, it'll get clogged up. It'll just be a mess. So always at least a gallon of water and a dose of chemical. Okay? And you just keep using it, obviously. And then when you dump it, let's say you're going to stay at the campground for another week, but you had to dump the black tank because it was full. Well, after you dump it, you'll come in here and repeat that procedure, chemical and water, and then you're set till the next time you dump it, okay? Alright. So, your refrigerator is a 12-volt DC refrigerator. So, it runs on 12-volt DC. Got the freezer on the bottom. You've got the refrigerator up here. Ooh, I feel it cold. So, it's 12-volt DC. You have, charging ports. This is a more modern one. It has USB-C, and it has regular USB on it. And when it comes to your windows, these, if you're traveling and they start just falling down, sliding down, automatic, without you pulling them down just from gravity, all you have to do is tighten these up a little bit here. So that's why you have these spools here. Just wind it around there a few times. Just a little bit, to just tighten them up a little bit. You tighten them up a little bit and it'll stay up, okay? Your emergency window works like they all do. It goes like this. You push it all the way through. Then you would grab a hold of your tab here, the red tab, and pull the screen out, and you can escape in an emergency. And show that to any kids or grandkids or whatever, anybody that needs to know that, okay? Alrighty, so I think that does it. So we look around here. Yep, I think we're good here. So I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Please remember, inspect the roof every 90 days. Be very careful, and it's very important to do that. And right now there's no antifreeze in the system. It's all fresh water. The water heater's in camping mode. You're all set till the late fall, early winter when it has to be winterized. Okay? Thank you very much.